First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Mang Liaoming. Homage to Master Sakya Tsung. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Dupten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of the group practice today, the Medicine Tathagata Baisaya Guru, Sumu, Tanchen Katso, Dutton Siddhi, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and centers, and all disciples present here and over the internet. Good evening, how do you do? Aisteru 사랑해.
Hola amigo.
Hola amigo.
Te quiero mucho.
Te quiero mucho.
Sugoin.
Sugoin.
Ichiban.
Ichiban.
Kimochi ii.
Kimochi ii.
Chumi.
Chumi.
Yapi.
Yapi.
Bling bling.
Bling bling.
Konbanwa.
Konbanwa.
Today
we had the group practice of Medicine Tathagata, and what we wish for the most is for the pandemic can quickly pass, and that all the coronavirus would die completely. This virus is too much. They infect very widely. The first wave, the second wave, but hopefully not more than that, not more than the third one. After the third wave, we want them all to game over. Then it is finished. Owari. Of course, what we wish for the most is that when we have vaccine in the future, that everyone can get them, and everyone would have immunity. Then life would return to how it was before coronavirus. Otherwise, if it continues like this, everybody would be depressed. You cannot go anywhere. And our grand ceremonies cannot be conducted. And any grand ceremonies for tens of thousands of people have to be cancelled. It's quite problematic. After the lesson this time, I hope everybody will follow the rules more. So that's a lesson. I hope that Medicine Tathagata and Tara, who dispels epidemics, and the Medicine King, Bodhisattva, Supreme Medicine Bodhisattva, and the Sunlight Bodhisattva and Moonlight Bodhisattva can take care of us. That two Buddha school disciples, each two Buddha disciple would be healthy and untouched by any illnesses. But we cannot say that we only take care of two Buddha school disciples. So I hope that all Buddhists and all human beings and living beings can live with peace and auspiciousness. Prior to the Dharma teaching, I would like to start with a joke. There is a prisoner who keeps thinking about how to escape from the prison and trying to waiting for the right time. And one day he was working at the farm. You know, sometimes they bring the prisoners to the field to do some work. And inadvertently he found a peach and he became really elated. And he thought, because the sound peach in Chinese also sound like escaping. So he thought, oh, this is a hint that I should escape. And he did. And a few days later, he was caught and put back to the prison. And the John asked him, why did you escape? And then he replied, because I picked up a peach and I thought it was a hint from heaven for me to escape. And but why did you get caught? And he replied helplessly, because I did not pay attention that the peach was a white peach. Oh, which means like escaping for nothing. It's a homophone play of words of Chinese. It's a joke. But as Buddhists, we often receive guidance from the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Sometimes we would receive guidance or hints or revelations, and the revelations and guidance should be complete, and you need to understand the true meanings of them and not misunderstand them. In the past, I remember a true story. My last guru, Master Dubdan Dorji, he received the white Tara, the Dakini, telling him that he had to go to Taiwan to find someone with the family name Ro. Go to Taiwan and find someone with the family name Lo. and he would widely spread the tantric dharma of the Tubten lineage. And so Master Tubten Tarji truly went to Taiwan. And he traveled from the north to the south to the central area. He looked everywhere. At that time in Taiwan, there were also people taking refuge in him. But there was none by the family named Lo. Nobody. Lo. The character is the Si Wei Lo, a different Chinese character. And then he returned to Hong Kong. And one day he asked the white Tara, or the white Dakini, he asked the white Tara, so strange, I went to Taiwan and had many people followed me, but none of them had the family name Lo. And then white Tara told him that the person with the family name Lo had been looking for you, but you misunderstood what I said, because the white Tara spoke in Taiwanese. Lo, Lo, Seng. Taiwanese speaks Taiwanese. So the white Tara spoke Lu Seng Yan in Taiwanese became Lo Seng Gan. And in Japanese it would be Lo Katsuhiko. Lo Katsuhiko. So Lu is Lo in Taiwanese. So family name Lo. I personally heard Master Tubten Tarji told me that white Tara wanted him to go to Taiwan to look for someone with the family name Lo, that he would help the Tubten lineage to spread widely. He did not find me, but I found him instead. So that's a misunderstanding. Sometimes you have to clarify. So the family name Lo, is that Taiwanese or Mandarin Chinese? But Lo in Taiwanese is Lu. So that's why we want to clearly understand the guidance from the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. You cannot misunderstand. Now we will do the question and answer. From Australia, Sydney. 莲花家云，应该是云吧？莲花家云字旁一个云，莲花家云问的。Ask wholeheartedly homage to the lineage root Guru. In Grandmaster's book number 275, Fifth Teachings to the Path to Liberation, on the article Elaboration on the Ninth Cycle Buddha Breathing, You wrote that one must first complete the beginning 7 parts of the practice, perform the 9 cycle Buddha breathing, and then recite Om Pecha Sato Ahom Be 108 times or more. Then enter Samadhi. My question is, do I have to chant Vajrasattva mantra? Or can I chant Yida mantra or Root Guru mantra?
Om Pecha Sato Ahom Pe
Om Pecha Sato Ahom Pe. That's Vajrasattva's heart mantra. And I teach you to chant Om Pecha Sato Ahom Pe 108 times or more, and then enter Samadhi. Then of course I want you to chant Om Pecha Sato Ahom Pe. You cannot chant other mantras. You ask if you can chant Yida mantra or Root Guru mantra. No, not Yidam, not Root Guru's mantras. You have to chant Om Pecha Sato Ahom Pe 108 times. Because Om Pecha Sato Ahom Pe and 100 syllable mantra generate the same merits to eradicate karma. Entering Samadhi, why do you need to chant 100 syllable mantra? Because the 100 syllable mantra will transform it into emptiness. And the most important thing to enter Samadhi is emptiness. Is to transform all of your thoughts into nothingness or emptiness. That is the most important part. So when I ask you to chant which mantra, then you chant that mantra. You cannot misunderstand. In the book Teaching to the Path to Liberation, an article elaboration on the 9 cycle Buddha breathing, and then if you chant Yida mantra or Guru mantra, although all the mantras are equal and has the same power, but for that time, in order to transform into nothingness, you want to chant Om Pecha Sato Ahom Pe. You cannot misunderstand. We just talked about misunderstanding earlier, about the joke. Family name Law or family name Lu, that's also misunderstanding. So you should chant Om Pecha Sato Ahom Pe. After 9 cycle Buddha breathing, the mantra should always be Om Pecha Sato Ahom Pe, because you want to transform into emptiness. This way, it would be more beneficial to your Samadhi. Question. Is there a difference between the 9 cycle Buddha breathing practice in this article with the one in the Root Guru Yoga or other deity yogas? Of course, there's a difference, because this especially focuses on the 9 cycle Buddha breathing. And the most important meaning about the 9-cycle Buddha breathing is to train the circulation of qi inside your body and to train you to focus or to concentrate. Because in order to enter samadhi, you have to concentrate first or be single-minded. You visualize the appearance of the yidam or the appearance of your root guru. And the white light that was exhaled and entering into your nostril and entering, and then another white light, one circle, and then out your right nostril, and 2 nostrils, white light, entering both nostrils into your body, 1 cycle to the apex and back again, and then exhale through your 2 nostrils together simultaneously. And then you do it 9 cycles, is to train you to be single-minded on that light and qi, to focus the mind, light and qi, the union of these 3, and then you would become single-minded. And after that, you recite the mantra that transforms into nothingness, Om Pecha Sato Ahom Pe, and then enter samadhi. That would help you, so that is a method that can let you enter samadhi easily. So the practice procedure and with the root guru yoga and other deity yoga, of course, are different, because this is an elaboration, a detailed explanation on the 9-cycle Buddha breathing. For each of the step, in this book, Fifth Teaching to the Path to Liberation, it was also talking about the 4 preliminary or fundamental practices. And one of them in great details, and it would become a practice procedure. You should just follow it. Don't ask too much. Don't overthink. Don't go into tangent. Just follow it. It would be beneficial to you. Wow, so many questions. In Grandmaster's book number 275, Fifth Teachings to the Path to Liberation, on the article, the key formula on the Yidam Deity Yoga 2, Grandmaster mentioned that a Tantrika should learn the visualization of oneness, I enter and enter me. And the key tricks are: 1. Visualize the yidam moves from the space in front and above the practitioner to the top of the head. Recite the yidam mantra 108 times. 2nd, visualize the yidam's nectar fills the practitioner's body, and to make it purified, recite the yidam mantra 108 times. 3rd, visualize the yidam transform into a drop of light, entering through the apex to dwell at the lotus blossom at the heart, and recite the yidam mantra 108 times. 4th, visualize the yidam gradually enlarges to become completely identical and exactly the same size as the practitioner. Recite the Yidam mantra 108 times. Fifth, lastly, the practitioner visualizes oneself to enlarge and to become as expansive as the sky, that the whole cosmos becomes the practitioner. Recite the Yidam mantra 108 times. My question is, do we have to recite the mantra 108 times after each step? I have told you, said it clearly. You're overthinking it. You're still asking questions? I have written it very clearly to recite the mantra 108 times each time, and that's to empower you, to bless you. So that means the root guru or the Yidam will bless you so that you have the power to be able to transform. And you don't want to chant it? Of course you have to. Otherwise, why would I write it in my book? So, writing it for what? For nothing? But it's not that way in the Root Guru Deity Yoga. Can I just use the 4-syllable mantra instead? Cha Hom Pan Ro? So this is the mudra for Cha Hom Pan Ho. The Root Guru Yoga practice procedure does not mention that. So can I instead chant the 4-syllable mantra of Cha Hom Pan Ho? Cha Hom Pan Ho. That's visualization. The Yidam in the space. The Yidam moves to in front of you. The Yidam sits on top of your head. The Yidam enters into your heart. And Root Guru in the sky, and then moves to in front of you to sit on top of your head and enters into your heart. 4 steps. But you said that it's not mentioned in the Root Guru Yoga practice procedure. So it means that not each Dharma practice would be done this way. So just follow it. If it's not there, don't do it. If it's there, do it. Just follow what Grandmaster instructs. Don't overthink and don't keep asking questions. From Malaysia, Amy. Oh, the music sounds nice. Malaysia, Amy. Before we gain spiritual response from the 4 preliminary practices, Vajasattva or Root Guru Yoga, are we not allowed to practice the treasure-based energy yoga, the yoga to loosen the 7 chakras, and the 6 posture yoga? Thank you very much. It's like this. Because in this era, everybody wants everything quick, instant. It's different from the past. Every guru has different rules. For some guru, you need empowerment for each Dharma practice. For each mantra, you need an empowerment. Any Dharma practice, you need empowerment. Like for the 4 preliminary practices, you would need 4 empowerments. So for the great prostration, for the great offering, for the fourfold refuge, each need empowerment. And for the bodhicitta generation, you need empowerment. For the repentance, you need the empowerment. And for the Vayukana 7 posture sitting, also need empowerment. Everything needs empowerment. So they're very, very meticulous and specific. But Grandmaster have said it before that our refuge initiation empowerment includes the Root Guru Yoga, and everything in it is already included, which is the 4 preliminary practices, the Root Guru Yoga, and all parts of the practice procedure are included in that initiation empowerment. And the 4 preliminary practices are the vase empowerment. So the refuge initiation empowerment includes the 4 preliminary practices and the Root Guru Yoga and everything that's in it. Someone said that the 4 preliminary practices include 2 other Dhamma practices, which is the Root Guru Yoga and what else? The 6 preliminary practices include what? Some people say 6 preliminary practices instead of 4. And it includes the Root Guru Yoga. And the rules in Buddha school, whenever you receive the refuge initiation empowerment, that would include the 4 preliminary practices and the Root Guru practice. And for the other deity yogas, then you would need empowerment for that. That's the vase empowerment. For all the other Yidam practices. Treasure vase energy yoga, the yoga to loosen the 7 chakras, and the 6 posture yoga. These are part of the inner tantric practices. In the past, the rule is that after you gain spiritual response from the 4 preliminary practices and the Root Guru Yoga or the Yidam Yoga, then you can ask for the inner tantric practices, empowerments. But in this modern day, there are also gurus who have progressed that before you gain any spiritual union with the Yidam, you can ask for the inner tantra empowerments of red and white flowers already. So which means the inner tantric empowerments and the Yidam empowerment and the refuge empowerment can be given all together. And it is also allowed at Buddha school. So, if you want to practice treasure vase energy yoga, the yoga to loosen the 7 chakras, and the 6 posture yoga, you need to first receive the 2nd level empowerment, which is the empowerment of red and white flowers. You offer the red and white flowers. The red flower represents the red body, and the white flower represents the white body. Then you are allowed or permitted to practice the qi channels and light drops, and that's allowed into the school. Or if you want to go step by step, it's okay too. Or you receive refuge empowerment, a yidam empowerment, white and red flower empowerment together, it's okay too. And for the inner tantric empowerment, you have to receive in person. So it is best that you receive the yidam empowerment in person too. But for refuge empowerment, it's okay. You can receive it remotely. This is also already making it very convenient for everybody. Or if you want to go one by one, it's okay too. If you want treasure-based energy yoga, one by one, the yoga to loosen the 7 chakras, it's okay. So many gurus now is to make it very convenient. Because it's not easy to be able to come to Seattle, especially nowadays. During the pandemic, it's not easy to come to Seattle. So that's why once you're here, I can confer the empowerments for Yidam, for the inner tantric, the second level empowerment, for the white and red flowers. So the first level, second level, refuge empowerment can all be done together. And the third level empowerment for the highest yoga tantra, you have to receive the empowerment together with your spiritual companion. If you don't, that would be called thievery. That would be violating the precepts and does not comply with the Dharma laws. So for the third level empowerment of the highest yoga tantra, you have to receive it with your spiritual companion, definitely. And afterwards, Grandmaster has to explain, to provide oral teachings and instructions. So it cannot be very casual. If someone is doing it with someone without receiving the empowerment together, then that master has violated the precepts and would definitely fall into hells. And not only masters, but any monks, you will also, for breaching the precepts, or even lay practitioners, if they have not received the highest yoga tantra empowerment, and yet claim that they have, like a master asking for remote empowerment for so many of them, and they were in Little Prince saying, asking for the highest yoga tantra empowerment, so tiny that I missed it. Remote empowerment for highest yoga tantra? What the heck are you? Are you playing a ghost? That's breaching precepts. You're violating precepts. You're destined to fall into the Vajra hell. and the Yama King will never be kind on you. If I become Yama King, the judge, when the Yama King descends upon my body, I would become very strict. I would ask, I would interrogate, and would capture you to hell. And at the spaceless hell, there are all these masters who are violating precepts. So highest yoga tantra empowerment is not very casual. You have to receive it with your spiritual companion. If not, otherwise you would die early and fall into hell. That's a very serious, grave transgression if you breach that precept. And if you're in the hand of the Yama King, you would never be able to escape from it. So that's why. Because if you go to the netherworld, Grandmaster would have to go there too. For what? Because the Yama King will accuse me. Because you were the one that gave empowerments to these masters. So it is also, you're also to be blamed. And then I would be tormented too. Then I would have sinned myself too, because they were empowered by me. You know, the master or sangsi means the unexcelled guru, the highest kind of guru, so it should have been very holy. Therefore, I would have sinned too, because I made it too easy for them. I would be guilty too. The most basic masters, because there are 4 levels of mastership. One is Acharya, which means master. The Maha Acharya, that's like the great master. And the Maha Vajra Acharya is even higher. And the highest, or the 4th one, is the Maha Vajradhara Acharya. So for the most basic Acharya, you have to master all the practice procedures. That you should be very clear about all the key formulas of all the practices. Only then you would be called an Acharya. So the sadhana, or the practice procedure for all the deities and practices, should be mastered very well. Even the most basic Acharya should understand all those. That was a question by Malaysia Aimi. And question from Indonesia, Hansen Chen. Grandmaster, please guide us how to practice the Dharma and train the mind so that our financial and health
请师尊指示弟子
faith
如
would
何修法
get
及
better.
修心，让弟子的财运及健康运可以顺利。财运能够顺利，
So
你就
a
修
good
财神法，
wealth or financial
修财神法
luck, then you should
是
practice
善
the
巧方
wealth
便，
deity. That's skillful means for
善
convenience.
巧方便。你身体要健康，
And if you want
做
health,
七重轮运动，
then you
六
do
肢
the
体动
yoga to loosen the 7
金刚
chakras,
拳法，
or the 6 posture yoga, or the Vajra fist
你就
exercise.
修这个健康，
That's
你
for
会
health.
健康。
Then you would be
健康是
healthy.
在密教里面有，
In
如
Tantrayana,
果是在显教，
we do pay attention to health,
没有
but
特
in
别教
Mahayana,
如何健康。
they don't talk about that.
所以显教的法师啊，连
So Mahayana monks look vegetarian
菜色，你吃素
because
连有菜
they
色，
are vegetarian.
身体很虚，
They look weak.
讲话有气无力。
And when they talk, they have no energy.
奶奶，讲起话来是奶奶。
So when they talk, they're very sissy.
他走路啊，飘飘欲仙，
And when they walk, they're like floating,
身体很瘦，
very skinny.
当然肥的也有，
And of course, they're fat
肥
ones
菜有
too,
吃太多，
because they eat too
菜
much
有吃太
fat,
多啊那个
vegetable
一般来
fat.
讲素的东西哈，
Because
素面啊、素菜啊，
Well,
都掺
most of the
很多
time when they eat vegetarian food, they would add lots of fat and oil. So they become
身
really
体瘦
fat.
的比较多，还有病。
But most of them are rather frail and fragile or ill.
我记得我在纽约的时候，那时候
I remember when I was in New York,
那个圣严
I went
圣
to
严法师，知道吗？
the Venerable Sung Yen. Do you know him?
那个叫
What was that called?
华鼓山，华鼓山圣
The
严
Flower
法师
Drum Mountain.
他还没有去
Temple
台湾以前，他是在纽约，
Before he went to Taiwan, he was in New York.
他在纽约。我在纽约的那个
And I was
做法务的时候，
in New York to do
做
Dharma
会计金刚
work,
法的时候，
to
那时候在
perform the
金刚
Ujjusma
法我们
Dharma
有这个
ceremony.
几千人的，将近
It
万
was
人
attended
也是世界
close to tens
我
of
们在麦迪
thousands
士
people
馆
at the
麦
Madison
迪士
Garden,
馆做法。
Madison Square Garden.
那圣严呢，是在这个纽约的
And Sung
这个
Yen was
文教基金会，台湾的文教基金会里面
at the
有200多
Taiwan
个人参加他的法会。 我们在麦迪森馆台，
Taiwan rep
数
office
千人
was attended by about 200 people.
麦迪
But
森
we
馆
were at the Madison
麦
Square
迪森馆
Garden
很
and
贵的
attended by thousands, close to 10,000 of participants. It was very expensive.
那个场合是很贵的。那时候圣严也在
That venue was very expensive.
文教中心，
And Sung
100
Yen
人的法会，
was in New York too.
还没有创建华鼓山。
That's before he went to Taiwan to establish the Flower Drum Mountain Temple.
啊，检查身体。那个中医师跟我讲，圣严
And
法
there
师
was a Chinese medical doctor who was a two Buddha school disciple who also was the doctor of the Sung Yen
身体里面有
Venerable.
阳有阴，
So the Venerable was very yin, because inside our body there's the yang element and yin element. So that would be very yin and makes you very frail and very fragile and very weak. And he was very good at teaching precepts. And I really liked the way he talked about precepts. That was very important. The Vinaya. But he did not have health. Wasn't fated for health. But for us, as a tantric practitioner, we have to have good, healthy body. You have to have healthy body. That's why you have to practice the seven postures to open the yoga, to open the 7 chakras, and the 6 posture yoga. And so you have to learn about Vajrafist exercise, so that the chi can fill your whole body. You want to make the chi to fill your whole body. You want to make it circulate and lift. You want to have that chi, that power. You have to have chi and power, and you want to circulate your chi in your body. And you want to make your chi to ignite your inner fire. And the fire is yang. And the water is yin. And you want the water and the fire to merge, to blend. And you need a healthy body to do that. Otherwise, all you have is water, to make you very drowsy. If you only have fire, you would always be excited. If you have fire, then you would be excited. So you cannot live without water, because in order to enter samadhi you need water. But in order to move or to be in action, then you need fire. So therefore, the dual execution of movement and quiescence of fire and water, of yin and yang, they're all part of the dual execution. That's why you want to be able to blend the water and fire in order to open all the channels. And you have to have a healthy body to do that. That's why you want to practice the treasure-based energy yoga, the yoga to open the 7 chakras, and the 6 posture yoga, the Vajrafist exercise, so that to make you healthy. Asked by Tanzhen Yao from Indonesia, if you want luck in financially, then you practice the wealth deity. And if you want health, then you do the yoga to loosen the 7 chakras, the 6 posture yoga, the Vajrafist exercises, treasure-based energy yoga, and each of them require empowerments. If you have time, come to Seattle to receive the empowerments in person. Today, we will talk about the spiritual experiences of the heavenly realm of no form. The last time we already talked about maintaining it and letting it be, and now we will talk about the spiritual experiences of the heavenly realm of no form, or arupa dhatu. The verse in quote, truly merging with the Buddha Mother's empty the three realms are empty. If the mind chi is evenly absorbed into the character of wisdom, it will generate the spiritual experiences of the meditation of the four infinite nature. So when you enter samadhi or meditation, so you have to absorb into the wisdom character. Then you would have the spiritual experiences of the four infinite nature meditation, the meditation of the four infinite nature. The first one is Akasana Chayatana Jhana, the meditation on the infinite nature of space. That's the first meditation. All thoughts naturally come to the realization that everything is empty. So first you eliminate the forms. I'm not talking about sex or sensuality or looks and appearance, but actually it talks about all appearances or looks. All appearances of forms. So one has discarded all forms. So all phenomena of the human world is not needed anymore during meditation. So in meditation, all you have to do is to visualize the wisdom character. Then you would go to the meditation on the infinite nature of space. Then you would be able to arrive at the meditation of the infinite nature of space. So, the first one, because you renunciate the great earth and all the phenomena of the world. So you want to empty all this. And how you do that is by visualizing the character. And the second one is the meditation on the infinite nature of consciousness. Think that everything appears from oneself's mind consciousness. So just by visualizing the character, once you abandon the meditation on forms, then the next one is you know that all phenomena comes from your own consciousness, your own mind consciousness. So that all phenomena appears from your own consciousness, then you would reach the meditation on the infinite nature of consciousness. The third meditation is on the idea that nothing is there. Think that everything is external. Internally, in the consciousness, nothing exists. So even the consciousness is nothing, it's empty. Once you think that even the consciousness is empty, then you have arrived at the meditation on the idea that nothing is there. When you regard consciousness to be nothing, then you would reach on the third meditation on the idea that nothing is there. And then you progress further and you think that everything exceeds the sensation of existence and nihilism. It is the topmost spiritual experience of the finite. So you have transcended. So even when you don't have any sensation, that's also a kind of sensation. And of course, when you have sensations, it is a kind of sensations. But even when you don't have any sensations, that is also a kind of sensation. And once you transcend that, then you would reach the heaven of neither perception nor non-perception. And you have reached the meditation of neither perception nor non-perception. The above four meditations do not arise following the stages. And the above is the instructions on the temporary spiritual experiences of the three realms. So the highest heaven of the Arupa Dhatu, or the heavenly realm of no form, is the meditation of neither perception nor non-perception. So once you transcend whether the sensation is there or not, then you have reached that meditation. At that time, there is still a very slight non-perception or non-thought. It's very, 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 very non-thought. A very, very fine kind of thought. And that's the heaven of neither perception or non-perception. That's how I would explain this excerpt. Let me tell you, just now I have taught a very important key formula about meditation. The fire inside your body is yang, the water inside your body is yin. When you have more water, it would be easier to enter meditation. Why? It's easier to fall asleep. When there's more water, you would be drowsy. It would be easier to fall asleep. And when there's more fire, then you would be more stimulated or excited, then you would not be able to fall asleep. When Grandmaster practiced the treasure-based energy yoga, I had more fire, too much fire, that I could not fall asleep. So that's why before sleep I will not do the treasure-based energy yoga, maybe just once or twice. If I do it more, then I would be too excited and I would not be able to fall asleep. And then if it's too much, your eyes would be red, your gums swollen, your head would be dizzy and turning and overstimulated. That's too much fire. And the best is the just right of balance and merging of water and fire, which is the time where you enter into the proper or the right meditation. So I have taught you this. Water is for drowsiness and fire for excitement. And the fire is yang, the water is yin. And when you harmonize both yin and yang perfectly, you enter samadhi. If you're too excited, that would be too tight, too much fire. If there's too much water, then you would be too loose. Or too low. So you need to understand this. Yang and yin, water and fire. You need to understand that concept. I bet with my girlfriend I lost, so now I have to help her with the hot water to soak her feet. And then she said, add some more salt, so I did. And then when I thought about it, I thought I added some sugar, vinegar, goji, and some other herbs. And the girlfriend asked, are you learning from a Chinese doctor? No, from my mom. Really? So your mom often soak her feet? And the boyfriend said, no. My mom loves to cook pig's feet. Should add the anise, the herb. So he thought he was cooking some braised pork's feet. At the bus, there was a pickpocket that's trying to pick the wallet of a passenger, and the woman lightly tapped his back. Just don't try. His wallet is with me. And the pickpocket was shocked, like, oh, and said, oh, you're my senior? And the lady replied, no, I'm not your senior, I'm his wife. It made me think of another joke. A kid went to the zoo and he went to the tiger's cage, and the tiger is very ferocious, and he said, I really want to have a pet like that, a tiger pet. And after a couple of decades, his wish was fulfilled. He had a female tigress as his wife. And there's a kid that went to the zoo and saw a lion. Oh, it's good. Lion's good. In the future, I want to have a pet lion. When he became 30, his wish was fulfilled. He got a sumo. In Chinese meaning like a female lion. It sounds